Today I would like to tackle some big questions. Now, I'm about to make an appearance in the next slide. There we go. First question is this. The weights you used in the video looked massive, really heavy. Wouldn't lifting such weights bulk you up? It's a really good question, opens up a big topic and is a variation on one of the most commonly held and completely unfounded fears when it comes to resistance training and in particular training with weights. That lifting weights will make you big and bulky. The first thing I want to mention is that the question was referring to a video from which the screenshot that you see to the left is taken. The bar across my shoulders weighs 20 kilograms. The plate on each side is a deceptively heavy looking 5 kilograms. What I mean is that the weights are actually lighter than they look. So the total is 30 kilograms, which is less than half my body weight. Now that is not a lot of weight for the large muscles of the legs to be lifting. However, if I try to perform an arm curl where the muscles are a lot smaller, that might be quite a lot of weight for them. And this goes part of the way to answering the question. The size of the weight is not what makes a muscle grow. It is how you train that determines the outcome. And the outcome is completely up to you. This is the most important part of the answer to the fear of getting big and bulky. It is completely up to you. Some people want to get big and bulky and increase their muscularity and want a bigger, more muscular body. And of course, many people do not want to increase body size. We all have different goals in mind, and the outcome depends entirely on your training strategy and how you train. But in fact, both those goals can be achieved by lifting weights and resistance training. Equally important, if not more important, is this. It is not permanent. If you stop training, your body will revert to the shape you were before you started training, and surprisingly quickly. It won't turn to fat either, I should point that out. That's another commonly held belief. It's impossible to change one type of body tissue into another. Muscles simply shrink back to their original size. You never need fear permanent change. If you don't like the results, you just stop. Preferably, then change the way you are training to get the type of results you want rather than giving up altogether. It is all reversible. None of it is permanent, and in fact, it will require ongoing and consistent work to maintain the results that you achieve and to make it all part of your life and lifestyle. Also, and this is important, change will not happen overnight, if only it were that easy. If your destiny is to transform into the Incredible Hulk, you will definitely get more warning than our Marvel friend that this is happening, and plenty of time to adjust your training strategy accordingly. I'll also say this, the amount of effort required to build the muscular bodies that the earlier question refers to is beyond most people's time and energy resources. Bodybuilders and those with this type of physique spend an astonishing amount of time to build this amount of size, both in terms of the time they spend in the gym and also the number of years they train to achieve that. They also have to consume an amount of food that most people would find beyond comprehension, let alone possibility. I hope that helps answer that very common question. The next question is this: will resistance training help me lose weight? Muscle tissue burns more calories at rest than fat tissue. So the short answer is yes, resistance training will help you lose weight. Resistance training helps burn off fat tissue and gives the muscles underneath a pleasing shape. It enhances and accentuates muscle shape. It is the only real way to sculpt your body's shape. Getting rid of fat reduces overall body size and weight, but shape and aesthetics is done with resistance training. Once the fat that covers the muscular structure underneath is removed through a calorie deficit, the only way to shape the muscles underneath is by resistance training. And incidentally, even though resistance training will help you lose weight, it's important to realize that it does this by making muscles not only stronger, but also bigger. In fact, all exercise increases muscle size to whatever degree you choose according to your goals and training strategy. Now that might come as a surprise. You cannot make a muscle smaller by exercising it. The only way a muscle would get smaller is either through inactivity and atrophy, the classic example being when you break a bone and it stays in a cast for a period of time, or when the body has exhausted all its fat tissue and has to turn to consuming muscle protein as an alternative. Now that is highly undesirable and essentially starvation. A very low level of body fat is in fact unhealthy. Bone structure cannot be changed, and nor can actual muscle shape. A muscle has fixed attachment points on the skeleton, and short of surgery, these can't be altered. So the only thing changing when we change a muscle through exercise is its size. But this alteration in individual muscle size is what gives our body its new shape. It's also important to note that if you have certain anatomical features, for instance long arms or broad shoulders, you cannot change this. For example, swimming did not give the Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps his long arms and broad shoulders. His long arms and broad shoulders are part of what made him a champion swimmer. Next question, a very common one as well, which are better, free weights or machines? The answer is neither one is better than the other. They are both all simply tools in your toolbox, and the more tools you have, the better, because variety is actually an important factor in preventing your training from becoming stale. Here's another way of looking at it. A dumbbell is a type of machine, and a cable is a type of weight, or as mentioned, a tool to train a muscle in a different but equally valid way. Your body will have trouble differentiating between certain machines and cables, sometimes between a kettlebell and a dumbbell in a certain exercise, and it really doesn't matter. Use all the machines, weights and gadgets you can to train the muscles from as many different angles and in as many different ways as you can. These days, I struggle to find new exercises to train muscles in different ways, and am always excited to find something new. So to be honest, personally, I really don't care whether it's a type of free weight or machine. If it works, it's new, I'm all for it, and I will use it. And so should you. Remember that your body's weight is no different to a barbell or a machine as well. If we're looking at it in this way, in terms of being simply another form of resistance and therefore yet another tool in your toolbox. Same goes for a swimming stroke or a chaturanga sequence in yoga. Every form of exercise is in some way using a type of resistance and therefore develops strength to a certain degree, usually with a built-in limit. We've already talked about that, your body's weight, so that it will become difficult to progress beyond a certain point once that level of resistance is mastered. To systematically and efficiently strengthen and shape your body to a noticeable and desirable degree, you will need a program of progressive resistance by which you can increase the resistance as your body adapts and gets stronger. The best way to do this is weight training, but weight training encompasses all forms of weight and all tools available. Dumbbells, kettlebells, cables, all manner of machines. They are all just tools in your toolbox. So a final note to finish this. I just want to say, remember, you are in control of the results. Best of luck, and I'll see you again soon.